Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Harebrained Games. We're going to do our yearly series. This is the first in a series of 3 parts involving Christmas 2025 top board games to recommend or suggest to people. We do the casual gamers first, and then there's a video for avid gamers who enjoy games and are familiar with the modern board gaming craze, and then there are the hardcore gamers who this is the wargaming and the deep complicated games that we play often. As in my group, at least that's where we mostly are at, but I also play with a lot of other groups, and so I have some ideas to share with all of you for Christmas. A couple caveats of this: all of the games that I choose, I tend to try as far as possible to get games that are available in stock as readily or in stock with some effort. I try not to have these lists contain games that just simply cannot be found where possible. So without further ado, let us get into it. Oh, and I don't have a lot of festive Christmas stuff. I love Christmas, just to let you all know. I love Christmas a lot. Last couple of years have been a little trickier than most, but hey, I have my candle, I have my Santa's 2 games. These are not Christmas games, but the lists, these are actual games that you can play all year round, although I do have my 2 most recent Christmas-themed games in the background, both of which are entertaining and pleasing. I'd give them both a B plus to a B minus in regards to their efforts. So anyway, and the candle next to the board games, which should make many people shudder. But I'm watching it carefully while I do this video. So, all right, let's go. Let's start with the first Christmas top board games. Let us go. I'm also going to do something here, which is going back through the years. I wanted to do a retrospective a bit to kind of go back to games that I have suggested in the past and let people take a look and go like, how did I do? Was I full of crap on one year, and or some of these stand up to the test of time? So as you can see, from 2020 until now, 2021 was a really, really bad year. I didn't do any game lists that year. Let's not even go there. But I did realize that, there are some games that I think have, if you'll notice, there's a few trends of games that continue year on year for me to recommend that still get played and still hit the sweet spot. The Crew, mission trick-taking game, Ready, Set, Bet, generally gets a nice vibe. Llama continues to shine in the casual department of gaming. All the ones highlighted in blue are ones that I think that I would continue to recommend. All the other ones are ones that are decent, but over the years I think there have been some games that may have replaced them or exceeded them, at least in some degree. So let's get into year 2025. First off, Lord of the Rings, the trick-taking game. While not superbly simple to get started with, it is simple enough and escalates well for anyone who loves trick-taking games with an amazing twist and an amazing theme. Each and every mission you take on has a bit of a different penchant, but not only that, not only does it have a different penchant or a different way to take a standard trick-taking, blasé affair, and imbue it with something clever. I'm popular today. It also has the ability to do it in a way that thematically makes sense for the mission being presented, and that's really well done, because a lot of times you can feel like some of the missions are contrived in trick-taking games. You're really just hiding the fact that you're adding a little bit here and there. That doesn't happen with this game. It is on par, making you feel like the theme of each mission exudes the mission and the characters within it. So, Lord of the Rings, the trick-taking game. Next, we have Wrath of Fire Mountain. I did not play this for quite some time. It's been out for a little while. But this one is, if you've ever played a large-scale game called Blood Rage, which was all the rage back in the earlier, several years ago, it was basically just Vikings rampaging and all over the place, Ragnarok, destruction, and destruction wasn't always bad and all that stuff. Wrath of Fire Mountain is curiously good at taking all of that and distilling it down into a small experience that's simple enough that a casual player could play it. It's got all the vibe of like the mount, the area around the mountain is getting destroyed. You're moving around, you're placing things, you're manipulating other people. But it does so in a very sweetly, smooth fashion. It's smaller. You got your little people. You still got little special abilities. Really surprised me. So next we have Flip 7, which, despite the fact that it's just vaguely a game, but it's such a hit. I've not taken it places where people haven't gone, I love this game and play this game. I've had people who just don't even like boarding card games who allow their spouses to play. Like, dive in and actually enjoy it. So it really breaks the mold for some, despite its super simplicity. A lot of people, if you're into serious games, you're going to be poo-pooing it a little bit, maybe. But even ones who say, like, I don't like this game, but man, I can't get people to stop playing. It's a pressure luck game. You're trying to get 7 cards. It's up to you. I mean, it's bust, it's blackjack, but with a little extra twist. I've had kids as young as 3 able to play this game and enjoy it along with the adults, and that's rare and really, really treasured. So, Flip 7. Next we have Toy Battle. Toy Battle is exactly what it says it is. You get on the horn and you have one side and your opponent has the other side. Everyone has the same pieces, so you all have the same toys, and some of the toys are different. Some of them are like little paratroopers. Some of them give you ability to bring another person with you, another piece with you into the fray. Others are they're just really good, solid units. All of them with a special ability that you can count on. What differs are the boards underneath. The 4 different boards underneath are varied in such a way that you have your special ability on each unit, but then when you place them somewhere, that place also might have an ability that triggers. Really fast, really quick, really enjoyable, highly entertaining 2-player game. So, Toy Battle. Tag Team. Tag Team is a game where you are going to take 2 characters and you're going to pit them with each other against 2 other characters on your opponent's side. Where this game differs is that a lot of times you're going to get a deck of cards, like, think Smash Up, it was a game in the past where, like, oh, you got 2 different themes, zombies and plants, and bananas and warthogs, and wizards and bananas again. In each of those situations, you would mix cards together and then you'd play thematically. This doesn't do quite like this. Doesn't do that. You will take a very specific set of cards for each character, and every single character in this game is very different. Each one has very different ways that it attacks and defends and helps its own allies while hurting its opponents. And the key here is you start off with 2 cards. 1 card for one character, 1 card for the other. Your first round is literally just flip 2 cards. Then you take a choice of 1 of 3 cards, and you say, okay, where am I going to put this? I'm going to put this top, middle, or bottom. You don't get to rearrange the order of the cards the entire time of the match. You can fit stuff in the middle. You can fit stuff above. You can place cards any way you want, but you don't shuffle them. It's up to you to decide how you're going to reconcile how the card deck lays out. And that brings up some interesting challenges, because if you have an opponent who hit you and you had a card that didn't hit them, you might want to go, well, I want to get this next card and actually have a shield, and I want to fit it in such a way that when that card comes back up, my card will shield it, but then the opponent might be going, well, he's probably going to shield that, so why don't I add an attack that moves that attack? It just gets really mind-bending and fascinating. So, Tag Team. Duck and Cover. Duck and Cover is super simple. You lay out 12 cards in your tableau, 1 to 12. There's a central deck that also has cards 1 to 12 and a few other little offshoot cards. And everybody, it's randomly placed, but everyone's got the same cards, and whenever a card is flipped, you can choose to either duck a card around to another card, because you can only move cards onto other adjacent cards, or cover. You can cover a card with the card that was selected, with the idea that you're going to take these 12 cards in a grid and pile them into smaller piles. The less amount of piles you have when the game ends, and there's a certain end date, then all the scores are counted for all of your piles, the top card, which means that you may score a lot of points or a little, depending on how you manipulated your cards. It's like golf. You want the smallest score here. And so Duck and Cover, entertaining, like Flip 7. You can throw it out there and play 5-6 games if you wanted to, and it takes super fast time, and people seem to enjoy it. I do. Next we have Harmonies. Harmonies in this game, it's a puzzle. Think of it as a puzzle, a spatial puzzle aspect card, but a lot of that spatial puzzleness is hidden by the fact that it has such a charming presentation. Artwork of different varieties of just landscapes and nature. What you see in the box is a lot of the art style that you're going to see on the cards. On any given turn, you're going to have little pools of 3 tokens, and you're going to take 3 of those tokens and you're going to place them on a grid. That grid has a finite amount of space, and how you place these tokens is going to determine whether you complete objectives. For one card might say you need to have a brown token on top of a green token, or below a green token, or you might have to have a yellow, like, field token represented next to 2 blue river tokens. And when you complete that objective, you mark it, and as soon as you've marked every time you've completed that objective, that card is done, and you can set it aside knowing you've got those points. And you're just going to play rounds and rounds of this until the victory condition is met, and then you score up the points on the cards, and then how well you did with certain innate abilities, such as who has the longest river, that stuff. It is thinky and mathy in some ways, but then again, and you could get really deep in thinking it through, or you could just have a good time with it. So, harmonies. Next we have Flip Town, and I can't continue. As far as roll and writes go, I have not for decades liked roll and writes. I've never been able to. I've appreciated them. I've appreciated how much people like them, but I've never embraced them myself, other than a very, very small range of flip and writes. Flip Town would apply. Flip Town is a roll and write, conceptual roll and write game that really makes you feel like you have breadth of opportunity, and it's not just filling in buckets of check boxes that trigger other check boxes that really don't thematically push you into a nice field of being in that environment. Fliptown is western towns. You've got your graveyard, your saloon, you've got your cities, you got your towns, you got your train going through, you've got poker hands, you've got all these things going that make it really make it different, like the variety of things you can do and the risk factor. You have a risk. You're trying to build a poker hand, the best poker hand, while you're doing this flipping stuff. And so you're trying to take some risks, do some things, and I like that. Instead of just instead of like a free cell kind of malaise, it really does feel like you're trying your best to get, flip down, get stuff done first. Do you go to the town and get some benefits? Do you go to the graveyard and dig up things? Do you head out and try and rob the train? All of that stuff are things that you normally don't see in a roll and write, and here you do. And so Fliptown definitely gets my nod for people who want a great game. Really small print though, so I had to actually do large print versions and just laminate them, because these eyes were not meant for that small a cacti. So anyway, Flipdown. Then we have Hot Streak. Hot Streak is an exception to my rule that I try to make sure everything I have is in stock, but this game is so good that if you can find it anywhere, you do find it everywhere. Hot Streak is a programming game, and by that I mean you're gonna have cards set up. You're gonna introduce certain cards that you want introduced into what is effectively a mascot race for 4 people. It has a strangely shaped box, which usually drives me nuts. I hate strangely shaped boxes, but in this case it works perfectly because the box also rolls out like a saran wrap to an actual race. You've got and the top of the box is the podium, and so you've got your 4 little characters with crazy and entertaining backstories. They're all trying to vie to get ahead and to get up to basically win, to be the first to win. What you're doing is you're taking a set of cards, and each of these characters have cards that will say go forward left, go forward twice, fall down, and all of these things are going to be shuffled in, and you never know what's going to happen. You might go over and forward and then get bumped by another mascot. You both might fall down. One of you might fall down. You might go off the map, in which case you basically get the lowest place because you got disqualified. And at the end of each of the rounds, you're going to add your own cards to try to mess with things, because it's not just your character. You can make bids on all the characters. You can leverage and manipulate the system to your advantage. And this one was a pretty rare item to find. I'm surprised I found it. I think I got one of the couple copies left at the online store that I bought it from. But with its color painted miniatures and its humor, and no matter how you win or lose, there's a scenario at the end that kind of tells you based on your score, sort of some life event or something, and everything's so tongue in cheek and almost Hitchhiker's Guide like in its humor. So definitely think on that one if you get a chance to find it somewhere. And Origin Story. Origin Story is the most recent of the games that have come in, and usually I try to avoid recency bias, where it's like, oh, the one that came in last is the one I adore now. Origin Story, however, really takes trick-taking in a direction And a lot of trick-taking games, and by trick-taking, I hope you know what trick-taking is. It's basically you play cards and you're trying to get rid of cards out of your hand and you're trying to usually win tricks. Like, oh, I have a 7. Oh, I only have a 6. I only have a 5. Oh, I have a king in this suit. Oh, I get this trick. Um, and a lot of variants in riffs on that have been done. I mean, it's kind of the rage right now. It's like trick-taking games. Origin Story does something different in that it takes a very unusual tack of you are building yourself as a superhero, and you start off as a simple person and you get one of several personas, and then over time, over the rounds, and there's 5 rounds, you're going to have cards that boost or benefit or help that you can pay. You put little love tokens on and pay for, and then you play a trick-taking game, and you play the trick-taking game, and you score how you normally score at trick-taking games, plus a lot of extra. But each of these characters, you could get arch nemesis, you could get tools, you could get weapons. Each round you get another card, and each of those cards can do a little bit more and a little bit more. And so there's a beautiful crescendo to this game. It looks a little daunting for people initially, but once they get through the first round and the second round, they get the flow of it, and they're like, I get it. You have all the trappings, like how many tricks do I win? I get that many. Oh, I have a card here that says if I win only 2 tricks, I'm going to get 4 extra victory points. So I'm trying to get just that amount. Or at the start of every round, if you're like, I don't think I'm going to win any tricks, so I'm going to flip over and become the villain instead of the good guy. And if you turn out to do that, you're going to get a substantial amount of victory points. So Origin Story took me. I love trick-taking games, but I'm also understanding that a lot of these tend to be decent but derivative. This is not derivative. This was brilliant. So, and that's it. That's what we have for our time here. I'm very glad to share this with you. I would love to hear from you all what other games you think would be a great Christmas idea for casual gamers. What a time to be alive. Merry Christmas. God bless. And we'll see you next time on Harebrained Games.